Hey guys, so for this week's Art Explained, I'm going to start going over the art supplies I actually have. Each week I leave it open as to suggestions as to what you'd like to see me do or explain, but that's kind of broad, so I thought I'd show you what I actually have on hand, and if something catches your eye, let me know and I can start doing tutorials on it, explain it more, give you tips and tricks for when you might want to try it. So this week we're going to go over a pencil sharpener I made, pretty simple. And then we're going to go over my box here, which is my painting supplies, so for my watercolors and things like that. So we'll go through this together and stay tuned. So for the pencil sharpener, this is all it is. It is an old jam jar that I cleaned out and emptied and drilled a hole in the top and then attached a pencil sharpener here on the inside. Now I saw this example through the Sugru website, so I didn't come up with this all on my own, but it works pretty well so far. So just took a drill to make a hole in the center, put Sugru around the outside, around the top, and then of course covering it. And I haven't had any trouble so far. It hasn't come loose or felt like it was going to come loose. So it's just for catching all those shavings and stuff. The Sugru I put around here is just a grip to kind of keep it more in place. Now, I think a person could do this easily too if they had an epoxy or really good glue, but I didn't have anything like that in hand. So it's just an option. If you're not sure what Sugru is, this is how it comes in packs. This is the last one I have, sadly. I'm going to have to order some more. It is actually out of date, but I've still been using it. I keep it in the fridge, so it'll keep a little longer, and I haven't had any troubles with it so far. But these are just little 5-gram packs, 17 ounces, come in lots of different colors. They even have, color charts for how you can make up different colors to do color matching, but I've never really bothered with it that much. I just use it for lots of different tricks around the house. And Sugru is also really good when you're talking about your brushes. So here in my box I keep all of my brushes, and I did a tutorial on this on Instructables, but I can put another link to it in the description. Basically, on my good ones, this is a very nice wooden brush used for, oil painting and acrylic painting. And I just went around the edge here with the Sugru to cover that seam, because so many times my brushes get ruined by water getting between that and rotting away the wood or rotting away the bristles. So you can just put Sugru there. I put a little bit of a design on it by pressing something else onto it that had a design into it, so it's a little more grippy as well. But that just helps for any degradation from water into your brushes. So whenever you see some of my brushes that have this weird blue band, that's because I've gone through and done that. Let's see if I have an example of what it's like when you don't do that. I threw a lot of them away. Here, this is a bad one. So here we can see the brush. It's got really nasty degradation here. I only use it because it's got a nice tip on it, and then I only use it for when I'm painting things that don't matter. You can see here how it would have benefited if I had known about the Sugru thing at the same time. So there you can kind of see the design a little better around the band. But I do this to the brushes that are expensive, the brushes that really matter, and the brushes that aren't just plastic. Now here is the bottom section that has my paints and things. Some of this stuff is pretty old now, so I'm not even sure how good it works. But here we have a sponge for doing different effects. I don't use it that often. It really is more just because it was suggested, I think, in one of my classes, and that's why I have it. And then one of the big things that I always really liked, but looking at it now, it's actually dry, is a masking fluid. So that's something I need to invest in and get some more. You can see how it's completely dried here. I can't even think about opening it. It's just completely solid. That's my fault for not using it that much, but it's also actually very old. I can't even remember when I bought this. It might have been when I was first learning how to do watercolors even, so it's pretty old. Next thing here that's kind of neat is an iridescent medium. So basically you can see all the pigments in there that are silver. So if I shook this up really good, it should come back. I might need to stick a brush in there too, but It's been sitting in there not moving for a long time, but it's fun. It gives a nice sheen to things. Now, something that's not actually paint, this is ink, different inks, Ecoline, things like that. So I've got large choices of colors here. They're pretty nice. Well, so the next thing we have now are Ecolines, which is a liquid watercolor. It is very different than the other kinds of watercolors and incredibly vibrant. It's one of my favoriteest things, actually. Got several colors here. Come in nice bottles. Ecoline is one of the best companies I've found so far, and I found it here in France. Now, I'm not sure, looking here it says it was made in Holland. I'm not sure how easily the American viewers can buy that brand, but it's definitely worth looking into finding liquid watercolor. Again, this is another one. This is a different brand, the ColorX. Different kinds of colors are available that way. This one's nice because it has a little doser, which the others do not. So these are really cool too. Oh, and it looks like I've got a crack there. Another one is, this is liquid acrylic. So it is even more different than the others. It's got a nice sheen to it. You can see there. It's also got a doser here as well. If I can get it off. Which has fallen inside. Again, I haven't used it in a while. It's a very specific color. I can't even remember why I got this color, but I did. And of course the silver, which is kind of mandatory, I think. It's really, really good for so many things when you're getting highlights into pictures instead of just using plain white. Going in with a silver can really set things off, especially if you're doing anything at all metallic. Here's another one, liquid acrylic in pink. I think I got these on clearance, actually. I don't remember paying that much for them. So I've got some better quality paints and some lower quality paints. These are gouache, which is very much like watercolor. It's just not as opaque, so it will go down and fill in the areas much deeper. You don't have to do as many layers to get an area colored as deeply. Got some pretty cheap art studio. I think these must have come in a, I don't know, in a pack somehow. Got these are the Cottman Watercolors. Got lots of different colors. I'm kind of obsessed with collecting watercolors. It's my favorite medium by far, so I have a lot of them. These are some of the oil colors. This is the Van Gogh ones. I don't use oils that often. It takes a lot to do. You need a lot of time. You have to have a lot of different things to even be able to paint. Unlike watercolor, where you have the paints or the dry paints and some water, and there you go. You're good to go. If you're going to get into painting, I highly suggest starting with watercolors first, and then moving on to acrylics. This is a really cheap one. Again, I don't paint in acrylics that often, but in this set, this is where the cheaper ones are. I have some larger ones in my other cases. So now that you've painted, need something to clean with, this is what I always suggest using besides just water and regular soap. This will actually keep your bristles much better for longer. So all you would need to do is have a wet brush and then go in there and wipe it a few times with the wet, and that should get enough of the product onto the brushes. You can leave it there for a little while, let it soak in this mixture, and then rinse it out. I think it's the best by far. Here the instructions say rinse brush in warm water, swirl brush in compound, lather, rinse, repeat as necessary. So it's pretty basic. It's just better than hand soap. So if you're looking for something like that, I would go with this brand, which is the original B&J, which I'll put links to it. And most of the things in this video I'll put there as well. So that's it for this week. If you have any questions, put them below and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. If you have any suggestions for the next Art Explained, please put them below as well. If you're one of my patrons, remember that anything you suggest goes right to the top for either the weekly sketches or these Art Explained videos. And I'll have links to where you can buy these items or equivalents online. I know from country to country it can be difficult though. And that's it for now. So I'll see you for the next video at the end of the month.